Good evening, Lake Orion. Did you vote today? I know I did. Tonight, I'm your host, Anthony, and I am Between Taorminas.
Trophies have feelings, you know!
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Between Taorminas on ONTV. Sammy, how's life treating you?
You know, we brought a special guest today. It's a double trophy. We all need to know that trophies have feelings.
Okay, let's recap what the history of the Double O Trophy, if you may.
If you know the double O trophy, of course, it's a football trophy between Lake Orion and Oxford. It's played almost every year. I mean, this is the first time that it's the first time in division that they're going to meet this year in week 4. So this trophy here, it's a long symbolize of a rivalry between Lake Orion and Oxford.
Which we'll mention Lake Orion is actually, I believe, 26-7-4 against Oxford overall. Mm-hmm. And that's the beautiful thing about this Double O Trophy. But let's talk about another high school topic that has been of interest. It's a story that was covered in MI Prep Zone yesterday and we have been talking about a little bit. It was the situation with the two young men that were allegedly going to play for West Bloomfield, and yesterday reports coming out from MI Prep Zone from Scott Bernstein that they were going to go back and play for UD Jesuit. What do you think?
Well, I did some covering a little bit on OA now, of course, it's the about it. I think it's very interesting. It was very fascinating in some points because when you look at what happened here with the scheme here, what Billy Thomas, the original adopter of these two Nigerian kids. I mean, it was found out that they were brought here just to play basketball, and then it was I think it's a very interesting and fascinating story. I think that it's but I feel like it was like a nasty court battle that went through and through, and and Billy Thomas is the one paying for it.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, then the thing is, and I said this a few weeks ago when we talked about this story. All those two kids want to do is just play basketball. You know, I mean, the family situation is very, very complex, very, very, it's been very, very challenging. But it seems like one thing that I noticed is it seems like both sides have to share the blame. The guardian.
Yeah.
For bringing them into the first
Billy
place.
Thomas,
I understand his intentions were
well,
good.
Here's
Was
the
he
thing.
wanted
we
them to
don't
play
know
basketball.
the whole story of it, because we don't know what he did. He's allegedly doing, and of course he originally wanted to enroll his kids at West Bloomfield in June, and then all of a sudden and then of course that alarmed UD Jesuit. I just think if I'm UD, this is Jesuit. This is what I'm saying. The reason why we got these two kids, these two Nigerians. So we want to win state championship boys basketball. That's the only reason why that those two guys are right now playing for the Cubs and not for the Lakers.
Well, if you look at UD Jesuit's going to have a very good team this year. They have arguably the best player in the state, who's getting offers from Michigan State. I think it's Marcus Winston, is it?
I think it is.
So I mean, the thing is that in the summer league, one of the two Nigerian boys played in the summer league. Mm-hmm. There is a MHSA rule that does state if you transfer back to another school, the MHSA has some penalties about that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And then a court hearing is coming up for one of the two boys. One of the boys, according to my prep zone, has said that it was that it was finalized that he was going to another family. And then the other one, after that, the other one left, and he was temporarily with another family.
Well, you know.
I mean, this court case is not over.
This court case is not over. Let's not forget that. Because when you look at the situation, it is here, it's either, I suspect it's probably like a family that both families had UAD Jesuit ties.
Yes.
And I just think West Bloomfield got set up here in this because when you look at it here.
You think so, really?
They were playing in the summer league, one of the two boys.
One of the two, yep.
You know, and then West Bloomfield's going to really get hardly anybody here out of this whole thing. I think both those two boys are going to play for UAD Jesuit. But, you know, even if if Billy Thomas, of course, that's the name of the senior, gets custody of the one boy, the 169 guy, then how he can't play for he probably will not play for West Bloomfield. He can't play right away.
Well, if you look at it, the impacts of, do you think the OAA leagues now stay the same?
Yes, because you look at it now, this is a mess that, you know, nobody.
It's not West Bloomfield's fault.
West Bloomfield's fault. But ever since the James Young disaster, I think the OAA has become a little bit more cautious, a little bit more prestige. I think that a little bit more when it comes to looking at transfers. And I just think right now that when you look at it, I think that West Bloomfield would do much better staying in the blue than moving up in the white.
Obviously, that was, as a Lake Orion guy who covers Lake Orion basketball, that was the big concern was, you know, this was going to create a mess very similar to that. The divisions were already decided, and you know, at that point, you know, West Bloomfield was in the blue. There was a lot of ties to them and rumors that them and Rochester were going to move or switch. I don't know if they're still going to do that, but I mean, at the same time, though, with the two boys, I mean, they're going to be in school by the point of the next court hearing.
Right, that's true, and I think that it's going to affect them. It's going to infect them. It's going to hurt them. I think that even if they go to West Bloomfield, they probably will not play right away because when you look at it here, I just think that that's going to lead to consequences.
Okay. Well, I mean, any final thoughts?
Well, I just think both these two boys are going to play at UAD Jesuit, and Pat Donnelly's going to get probably the last laugh on Billy Thomas. But this, like I said, this case is not over. Also and of course, OA Now, of course, is my video cast. We'll keep an eye on the situation as we see it today. We'll keep an eye on it.
We'll be right back with Between Taorminas on ONTV.
Enjoy farm fresh produce, baked goods, art, and more at the 2014 Lake Orion Farmers Market sponsored by Crittenden Hospital. Walk, bike, or drive to the Orion Arts Center located at 115 South Anderson Street. Parents can purchase products grown and made locally while kids take part in fun activities like horseshoes and arts and crafts. Come early and come often as vendors change from week to week as new crops come into season. The Lake Orion Farmers Market is held every Wednesday from 2 to 7 p.m. through October 22nd. For more information or to sign up as a vendor, visit downtownlakeorion.org.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. You noticed something? No Ian Weatherspoon this week.
He's MIA. I think he's probably hanging out with Coco Crisp again.
You really think he's hanging around Coco Crisp?
Yep, he's right, and that's a panic button media moment right there.
Yes,
Let's hit that moment. There you go. Yeah! Woo! I love that panic meter. There you go. He's hanging with Coco Crisp as we speak.
Well, if you look at, all right, let's speak.
We got a better substitute for Ian.
Well, let's talk about the Tigers here. David Price, that move, the big acquisition.
I said this 2 weeks ago.
I know you did.
I said this two weeks ago that the Tigers are going to get David Price
I know you said
and Joakim Soria. Well, I was surprised Ian Weatherspoon did not listen to me, and the Tigers got him. It eventually going to cost him Drew Smiley, It was going to cost Stanley. Shockingly cost him Austin Jackson too. I mean, like, but when you look at this deal, you got David Price for basically a year and a half. You know, you're eventually going to lose Scherzer. I mean, but Price is a
Tigers
good
could try to
replacement.
regain Scherzer.
They could try to, but it's not likely.
You don't think so?
That he will. Yeah, because he just turned down $144 million.
I know.
The Tigers made this move because knowing if Max Scherzer was not going to be back.
But I mean, you have 3 Cy Young pitchers
On one team.
On one team. Are the Tigers? Is it World Series or bust for the Tigers?
Yes, I think
Does Mike Ilitch want to win a World Series?
He wants to win a World Championship. You see, this is the reason why that Mike Ilitch wanted to put more money in the Tigers than he put more in the Red Wings, is because he wants to win a World Series. You know, you look at it here, it's hard to win a World Series. You know what I mean?
Really
you
is.
can't be like Chicago Cubs, like all Chicago Cubs in like 1908. You can't do that. I mean, like, you got to put money in there. You got to put a lot of investment in there. I think, and of course, let's not forget, the Tigers didn't get rid of their number 1 prospect. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You look at it here in this trade. I mean, like, Tigers still have the number 1 prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I think Castellanos, I still consider him a prospect. I mean, like, but this team, I think the Tigers are fine when it comes to that. But I think they're in a win mode now. You know, when you got Verlander, Scherzer, Price. Scherzer lost last night to the Yankees.
Well, 2-1. He
2-1. He pitched well. Tigers had no offense in that series, in that game. Now, tonight, David Price debuts. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm very excited to see how David Price pitches for the Tigers.
Obviously, New York that series being in New York for 4. Do you think this is a must-win series for the Tigers?
They have to take 3 or 4 because this is a huge series for this team. Kansas City's coming. They play Arizona to kick off. And I can see Kansas City sweeping Arizona. And the Tigers have got to put pressure on. They got to put pressure on Kansas City. If they can do that, I think
the Tigers are still the team to beat.
They're still a team to beat, but Kansas City's gaining ground. And that's
How
not
many
good.
games now? 4?
4.5. You know, it's 4.5 because KC didn't play last night. They played tonight. They're still on the West Coast. I just think right now the Tigers are struggling. I mean, like they're struggling a little bit. I mean, this is an inconsistent team. They're a streaky team.
It seems like the offense.
The offense is the problem.
I mean, with the Rockies,
they didn't address the offense at all.
No, with the Colorado Rockies, you had that one Saturday game which was beautiful in terms of the offense. And I mean, the Tigers swept the Rockies. That was good. The problem is the Royals keep hanging around. The Royals took 2 or 3 with Oakland.
I know that was shocking right there because Oakland has no hitting period right now, even though they're without Coco Crisp. And they made an interesting move to get John Lester. I mean, like, in Yan Gomes.
Pitching.
I mean, Yan Gomes is supposed to be their hitting, but they gave away Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes was their cleanup guy. He was their best offensive threat, and now he's gone and shipped to Boston. I just think Oakland took a high-risk, high-reward with bringing in Lester, and then, of course, it's going to cost them their hitting. I think if you look at it right now, I think on paper, if you look at it, if the ALCS was played today, I would have to honestly take the Tigers over the A's because of offense.
I agree. I think do you think the Tigers are the team to beat in the American League? Some MLB insiders think they are.
Some think they are. I mean, like, because they got the team, they got to make the playoffs first. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's important to make the playoffs. I mean, when you look at it here, yeah, a lot of people say Detroit's the team to beat. You know, I mean, Oakland has not beaten them.
Not
in 3 years.
I mean, you look at the 3 playoff matches they've had: 06,
13, and 12.
12 and 13.
Look at it. I mean, the Tigers have done very, very well. Verlander's done very well against Oakland.
Yep.
Especially at Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Tigers can get to the playoffs, I think healthy, they're going to be just fine.
What team scares you? The Angels?
Angels are a team that scares me because they got the offense that can steal bases. And the pitching. And also the bullpen. Also Oakland. You know, those 2 teams.
Yeah, but the Tigers swept Oakland.
Tigers swept Oakland last time they played them.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, they just got John Lester and Jess Samardzija. You know what I mean? This Oakland team's going to be a much different team that they see in the playoffs if they get to the playoffs.
So, I mean, in terms of really the central concern is Kansas City.
Correct.
And then once the playoffs start, should the Tigers clinch, which I believe they will, then it's Oakland, Baltimore, Oakland, Baltimore.
Tigers got a tough series this week on Toronto.
I know.
Like, they
this
swept
weekend,
Comerica
yeah.
Park. It's a tough. I mean, like,
Tigers should be motivated for that.
they should be motivated for that series.
Mm-hmm.
But Toronto's been scuffling a little bit. They got swept by the Houston Astros.
Oh, all teams.
That's bad.
Of all teams, the Houston Astros.
The Houston Astros.
Wow.
Goodness gracious.
I know. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, any final thoughts?
Well, when you look at the Tigers, Kansas City's a team to worry about, even though they're out west right now. If they play the Angels, I think they're going to have problems. But Kansas City is starting to become a scary, scary team. Their bullpen's one of the best in the major leagues. I've said this to you. I've said this to Ian on so many occasions. The bullpen is probably one of the most scariest things. And Kansas City has a bullpen. Tigers really do not. And they just picked up Jim Johnson, who, what the heck, you pick him up. He has struggled. He has been like, he will give up runs after runs after runs after runs. This is not a good sign for the Tigers by signing Jim Johnson.
We'll see what happens. When we will be right back with Between Taorminas. We're discussing Lions on ONTV.
As the summer begins to wind down, enjoy the transition into fall by loading up the family and taking a trip to Friendship Park for Barn Days on Saturday, September 13th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be plenty of activities for the whole family, including a petting farm, carnival games, inflatables, farm fresh produce, and a wagon ride. But be forewarned, you may encounter some Yankees and rebels who don't know the Civil War is over. The cost is $5 per vehicle, and proceeds help fund Orion Township's concerts and other events throughout the year. For more information, you can call 248-391-0304, extension 305, or visit oriontownship.org.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. That commercial was very interesting.
Odd. Whoever did that thing should be called out for that.
You're kidding, right?
I'm
I
not
thought it was
kidding.
interesting.
It looks scary.
You're saying it looks scary?
It was scary. Help me! Hit that alarm thing, please. Help me! Help me! All right, let's go. Let's
talk about another team that presses the panic button very often. That's the Detroit Lions. First day of training camp, first preseason game.
First day of training camp, there's no hope for this team.
What?
Here's why there's no hope for the Lions. They can't even beat the worst teams in football. This team can't make the playoffs. I mean, like,
Hit that panic button meter, please.
They got a new offense.
No, not that one.
They got a new offense.
Continue.
And then, of course, let's look at it here. They got no hope. They're going to be throwing pick sixes every single year, every single time they play, especially in Lambeau Field.
Wow. So you're saying the Lions have no hope?
No hope.
Don't they have their first preseason game this weekend?
Yeah, against Johnny Manziel, Brian Hoyer, and the Cleveland Browns.
What's your take on that matchup?
I think Cleveland beats them.
Why?
Because I think that Manziel's going to play a lot, and I think he's going to torch the Lions.
You really think some arrogant little boy is going to torture the Lions?
Of course.
I would like to see Fairley and Sue and all them take down
Any
Johnny
quarterback
Manziel.
can torch the Lions. Let's look at it here. Even Matt Flynn can torch the Lions. I mean, like, any quarterback can torch the Lions. I mean, heck, even our producer, Joe Velez, can play a quarterback and torch the Lions. That's what I think.
I think you're crazy there. But anyways, the Lion, it's an interesting matchup. The game's in Cleveland.
No, it's in
it's at Ford Field.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so I mean I like that the Lions are at home. It's a good chance for the fans to take a look at the Lions, the newly coached Lions, the Jim Caldwell era. It's going to be very interesting to see. But I mean that schedule is going, and I mean we'll see what happens.
It's a brutal schedule for the Lions. I just think that Sue's done. It's a contract season for him. Fairly, I think. He's going to be suspended maybe at least 2 games.
Why would you say that?
He got in a little bit of trouble. But I just think with the Lions, it's just their draft was awful. This team is awful. They don't have any corners. They don't have anybody, any corners, any deep threats. You know. I will put lunch on them making the playoffs. Joe Velez, they will not make the playoffs this year.
All right, that's a bet.
You got a deal. All right.
You just hear that? You heard that first. You heard that first, Lake Orion, in between Taormina fans. Sam and our producer Joe Velez just made a bet. Let's hit that panic button meter. Thank you. All right, we're going to do some call-outs now because while Sammy and Joe Velez are having their differences, one of our other producers, and no, I'm not talking about Ian Weatherspoon, who's actually out cat manning as we speak, went out to New York City and went and visited Jimmy Fallon. Why? So my call-out this week it's got a good chorus, a good song to it. Joe and Jimmy, Joe and Jimmy, Joe Johnson and Jimmy Fallon. Why? Simple. Look, Joe, you ended up during that whole sequence yelling out, "I love you, Jimmy," and Jimmy responded. My goodness, you freaked out when you met a celebrity. Come on, Joe. It's supposed to come natural when you meet celebrities. You know, it's supposed to be natural. I mean, you don't have to. You don't. You know, when I talk to like a respect or a great celebrity like Mario and Pemba, I do cordial. I do it with honor. I do it with. I treat it like a regular conversation. I don't freak out. Oh, I don't like. Oh my God! It's Jimmy Fallon! Ah! And it's Jimmy Fallon at the same time. You know. It's a night show. You make people watch a show at night, but you're filming shows during the day. You know. Joe and Jimmy, you two are made for each other. That song chorus, Joe and Jimmy, Joe and Jimmy. That's a very interesting chorus. Thank you.
You know, my call, of course, is very interesting. I watched this before we had a live show tonight. I watched the previous show. Of course, it was a
scientific
show. Golly, for some reason, I'm gonna call out. I forget his name. Huh?
Joel Tacey.
His name is Joe Tacey. Joe Tacey. Why? Let's look at you. One, the trophy here. The trophy had his feelings hurt when he watched it. Why? It's because you're terrible. What the world? Ah! Why do you do this to this poor trophy? This trophy's got feelings.
What about the little kids?
This trophy's got feelings. I don't know about the little kids. This guy right here, what has he done? Who's this guy?
Who are you?
Who are you? You hurt. You ruined an innocent trophy's feelings. And also, I don't think you're funny. What's funny was Avalanche State beating Michigan.
Oh,
That's funny.
But he's Michigan's family comedy guy.
Michigan's family comedy guy?
Yes.
I would put Avalanche State over Michigan any day over this guy.
But, I mean, that's two different subjects.
This trophy
his intention is to
promote.
promote.
His
intention was to promote. His intention was not to make a trophy cry. His intention was to encourage young kids, to make young kids have fun and smile. What type of person are you?
This trophy has feelings there by this guy.
Hit that panic button, Meter.
Why? That's not my fault.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy is on the deep end. Are you still crying? Are you crying because Ian's not here?
No, he's not here. Thank goodness he ain't here.
Why?
He's dancing with Coco Crisp and hitting a panic button as we speak. Look at that guy. But
only.
Joe, Tony, why would he do that to a trophy? He would ruin the feelings of a trophy.
Well, fans, before we head on out for the show, before the evening, I'd like to, if you've noticed recently, Ian has his fantasy football show coming up. Sammy has got his OAA Talk, OAA Now podcast, and I'm going to actually be producing a show soon myself called History Now. So, between Taorminas, we'll be back with you next week. Have a great night. God bless Lake Orion, and God bless you as well.